Welcome back, baseball fans. 1974 Winter Baseball Classic. We are in the round of 3 going across the brackets. And we got a matchup between Halifax and South Carolina today. Overall look at the bracket. We can take a peek here. This is where we're at now. So we've got teams 5 through 12. The 13 through 16 are gone. 1 to 4 have byes. So in the 5-12, check this out. Savannah is the highest seed, a 5. The worst is Mississippi, a 12. They're only separated by half a game. So the really seeding is virtually non-existent here because that's how close this tournament has been this year. So with that, let's take a look at what happened as this particular round of 3 opened up. Halifax. It was Joe Coleman for South Carolina and Kenny Holtzman for Halifax, and this was indeed, as we get deeper into the tournament, we get more competitive, exciting games. Bottom of the second inning, Lee May solo shot, 1-zip. Top of the third, you get 4 singles and a walk. It leads to 3 runs, a 3-1 lead for the visitor. But then Halifax chips away. Billy Williams, red hot tournament, triples, scores on an error, and then an RBI single by Ken Rudolph. We got a 3-3 tie. In the 7th inning, bottom half, a bases loaded walk makes it 4-3. But in the top of the 8th inning, Kenny Holtzman asked to get the final 6 outs. A walk, a single, and a 3-run homer by Greg Nettles knocks Kenny Holtzman out of the game, and he's losing 6-4. But not so fast. In the bottom of the inning, Tom Bergmeyer and Fred Bean kicked this game around. Dave Chalk doubles after a ground out. You have Ron Hunt, Bill North, Lee May singles, and a Billy Williams sac fly. It's 7-6. And in the 9th inning, Eddie Watt, with 2 on and 2 outs, asked to get the final out. He does. 7-6 win for the home team, who needs to take 2 out of 3. They convert home field, which means we would go to South Carolina today for a game 2. They got to win this or go home. And this is an interesting matchup today. Halifax will turn to James Rodney Richard, the number 4 starter. Took a while for him to develop. He's still wild in 74. 2-3, 4.15 ERA, 65 innings. Starter relief starter then. Finally finds himself by 1976. And South Carolina is going to go with Tom Griffin. We just saw Tom Griffin in the previous series, I think game 1. Played a lot of baseball since then, and it's back to his turn in the rotation again. He has got to do better to justify the notion that he's one of the better waiver claims out there. J.R. Richard, Tom Griffin, ironically enough, were teammates on the 1974 Houston Astros. They are facing each other today. South Carolina, another elimination game. Last time we saw them in an elimination game, they defeated St. Pete. They also faced an elimination game against Athens in the first round and won that as well. So they know what it is to be against the wall. Leading off for Halifax, it's Rich Coggins. 1-7 flies to right. Ron Hunt, single on an 8. He cannot get it. He lines out. William North, 2-7, single on a 13. He cannot get it on a 19. Bottom of the first, it's John Milner, 65. Rolls the second. Dell Unser, 2-5. Rolls the first. And George Scott strikes out. Top of the second inning, it's Lee May, 54. Third X, your third baseman today is Greg Nettles, a 3.22. He cannot make a play there. He's a 3. One of the few times he's not a 2 or a third baseman. They played him a lot at shortstop in 74 for whatever reason. It wasn't very good there either. Now you got red hot Billy Williams having a heck of a tournament, batting 5th. 1-6 flies to right. Cubs, take note. Billy Williams batting 5th is lighting it up. So when you get him on your team, bat him 5th, maybe. Ken Rudolph, 37's a walk. Ed Brinkman, 410. Short X, your shortstop. Bobby Valentine's a 40-44. He has had a rather disappointing... He's hit... Yeah, he's got like 1 or 2 plays in the field and 8 or 9 errors and base hits and whatnot. The bases are loaded for Elrod Hendricks. 1-9. Elrod Hendricks is going to... Oh, the merry-go-round's turning, folks. Triple, 1-10. Double. You got it. He cleared him off. An Elrod Hendricks 3-run triple. You don't hear that very often on the Strat-O-Matic channel. 3-zip. Elrod had 2 triples and 159 at-bats. He's at third with 1 out. They're going to bring the infield up. This is elimination. Dave Nelson, 1-5. Short A plus. Well, he was going to score on a ground ball, but now it's a single, and he still scores. It's 4-zip. Nelson's an A-stealer against the zero arm of Ed Herman. He's taken off. He is safe on a 12. Rich Coggins with a runner at second and 1 out. 58. Pops to second. And Ron Hunt, 311. Pops to second. Innings over, but once again, Tom Griffin gets touched up. Greg Nettles, 1-6. Flies to center. Ed Herman, 55. Short X. 2E23, Ed Brinkman. Makes the play. Hank Aaron, 5'11", first X. Lee Mays, a 489. And he kicks that ball. And Bernardo Carbo, yes, Bernardo, a.k.a. Bernie, unless it's his brother, Bernardo. A little bit too much West Side Story in Bernie, and he's grew a mustache and changed his name to that, and yeah. 5-10, triple 1-7 off of Junior Richard. That's a triple. We have a 4-1 game. Unearned run. Bobby Valentine pops to short. Short lease for Junior Richard. Reasonable bullpen for the leading team. Marty Patton setting up Darryl Knowles and Eddie Watt. Top of the third, it's William North. 66, walks. He's taken off. He's a double-A stealer, and he's safe. This team's got a lot of speed. Coggins can run. North can run. Dave Nelson can run. Lee May. 47 is a walk. 2 on for Billy Williams. 56, center. Ken Rudolph, 5'10", center, X. Dale Unser's a 2E8 in center. Needs to grab this one. He does. 2 on, 2 outs. Big moment here. Ed Brinkman. 4'10", short X. And here's our boy, Bobby Valentine. 40-44 shortstop is really... There he goes. He just fielded a ground ball, folks. It took him, what, 13 games in this tournament so far, or something like that. He just recorded an out at shortstop. That's good news. 4-1 game. Could be a lot worse. Bottom of the third, it's Vic Harris. 2-3 pops to third. John Milner, 2-7's a base hit. Dell Unser, 56. Walks. George Scott, 67 Ks. And with 2 outs, it's Greg Nettles. 66 flies to right field. Richard is hanging in there. Elrod Hendricks, he of the triple. Oh my goodness, it's Elrod Hendricks floppy hat day, folks. Homer, 1-9 double. It is gone! Elrod Hendricks. Triple double, he got it. Homer double, he gets it. He's a 208 hitter in 1974. But it is 5-1. Dave Nelson, 38, grounds a short. If you're wondering, Elrod's, I think 75 card is already in the league, so we don't we don't even have to consider using this card. So there's that. Rich Coggins, 38, pops to first. And Ron Hunt, 4-8, flies left. Bottom of the fourth of a 5-1 game. Junior Richard. Can't blow this one, Junior. We'll quick hook you. Ed Herman, 3-5. Gone! Ed Herman just crushed the ball. See fastball, hit fastball, over the wall. It is 5-2. Hank Aaron, 47, ball 4. Oh, boy. Bernie Carbo, 6'10", base hit. And one more batter, Bobby Valentine, 44, center X. You got a 2E5, Bill North out in center field. He makes the grab. Vic Harris, 47, single 1 to 5. He got him out. You get another batter. Congratulations. John Milner could probably tie the game. 411. Second X. Oh boy. Dave Nelson's a 4-27. He makes the play, and Junior Richard lasts another inning. 5-2 in the fifth. It's Bill North. 2-6 grounds out. Lee May, 2-5 short. Billy Williams, 3-7. That's a walk. Decent amount of walks on Billy's card. 67 of them and just 404 at-bats. That's a lot of walks. Ken Rudolph, 2-5. Lines the second. Bottom of the fifth from sunny South Carolina. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
We have seen this movie before, folks. We know how it ends. South Carolina comes back and wins. They've done it repeatedly. They face elimination and are undefeated while doing so. So it means they're going to come back today and then go back to Halifax to win that game as well. So let's see how it plays out, I guess. J.R. Richard will be a nice contributor to that, we believe. Del Unser flies to right. George Scott, 5'10", double 1 to 3 is a base hit. Greg Nettles, 46. You walked him. I can't do this. This is 4 1/3. That's enough. Again, we're to the point where we've seen enough of these pitchers to know what they are as far as evaluation purposes. Now we're just trying to compete. We're looking for competition at this point, and Junior Richard just can't do it. So Marty Patton's going to come in the fifth inning with a 3-run lead and a couple men on board. Marty, the best in the bullpen they have, 3-7 with an ERA of 4 and 117 innings. His 76 card is presently in use by the Kansas City Royals. So he's not under evaluation today. Ed Herman, chance to hit another home run to tie the game. Here's the pitch to Ed. 1-4 lines to short. And with 2 outs, it's Henry Aaron. 1-9 grounds to short. Henry's getting used to batting 6th. Probably when he gets to Atlanta this year, it might be the same place. He's halved his home runs from 40 to 20. So we go to the 6th. It's Ed Brinkman leading off. 3-6 grounds to third. Elrod Hendricks, the Tom Griffin killer, skies the center. And Dave Nelson, 35, base hit. He's going to steal with 2 outs, and he is going to be out stealing. So Tom Griffin's pitched pretty well when he's not facing Elrod Hendricks in this game. So we'll continue. Bottom of the 6th, it's Bernie Carbo, 6'11". Walks. Bobby Valentine, known for his bat, not his glove, 66. Second X. Dave Nelson, a 4-27, base hit. Yeah. All the things that you need to play with a lead, you don't have in this tournament. Like defense, like a bullpen. So leads are particularly blown. And the 9th inning basically is up for grabs. Coming back in the top of the 9th or the bottom of the 9th is not really that big a deal, as teams routinely grab defeat from the jaws of victory in this. Runners in the corners. Vic Harris, they'll play back with a 3-run lead. 2-8 lines are short. John Milner, they're going to, again, play it back, looking for a double play. 48, sac fly to right, it is 5-3. And with 2 outs, Del Unser. 2-4, rolls to the mound. A 5-3 game into the 7th. Griffin will continue. Bullpens. Carolina has the worst one, so Griffin will continue. Rich Coggins, 310, right. Ron Hunt, 67, is a K. William North, 6'10". Homer 1 and 2, doubles a double. And Lee May with 2 outs and a man in scoring position. He rolls to third. Can we improve this defense? Yeah, we can put Dave Chalk at third base. That'll help a little bit. Got a 2 third baseman in there now. 5-3 game. Like I said, folks, these games have a way of balancing out by the time we get to the 9th inning. South Carolina's clawed themselves back in from a 4-0 deficit to a 5-3 game. Bottom of the 7th, stretch time music. We are enjoying, not that one, we're enjoying this one. D is for Dump Truck, by the Dump Truck Band of 1983. Repetition, How Come, Things Go Wrong, are the big hits off of this one. What's the one that everybody covers in this one? Oh, it's not even on here anymore. I thought they did Glory's on here. Nope, Glory is not on here. Okay. One of those southern kind of jangly rock bands in the REM mold of the early 80s kind of thing happening here. Back to the game. Marty Patton in his 3rd inning of relief. He's a relief 4, and in air quotes, clinching game, he might be asked to go 4 innings. George Scott leads off. 3-6 is gone. George Scott makes it a 1-run game. Greg Nettles, 55, flies to left. Ed Herman, 63, rolls to first. And Henry Aaron, 1-4, grounds to short. All right, 5-4 into the 8th. Tom Griffin has done some heavy lifting in this thing. Again, comes back to these rather remarkable rolls. That's some nice alliteration there. For Elrod. So let him keep going. He's auditioning. This is what we want to see. We want to see Tom Griffin pitch well so that our team will remember that in the draft when they're looking on the waiver wire for a quality starting pitcher. And Griffin can certainly make a 3 or a 4 starter, maybe a 2 starter, because he can pitch on 3 days rest for a team that's starving for innings. So this is what's happening right now. Oddly enough, Steve Carlton and Mickey Lolich are also on Tom Griffin's team. I could care less. We don't really need to know anything about Steve Carlton and Mickey Lolich. We know everything there is to know about those guys. Billy Williams leads off in the 8th. 47, single one to 17, lines out on an 18. Ken Rudolph, 5'10", center X. This is Unser, 2'8". He makes the catch. And Ed Brinkman, 1-6, pops to second. 8th inning. Marty Patton's going to keep going because he's better than the other guys. It's Bernardo Carbo, 4-4 catcher's X. Elrod's a 4E1. Makes the play. Does it with his glove after doing it with his bat earlier. Bobby Valentine, 2-9, triple on a 12 double. It's a 2-base hit. Do we get to the end game here? Vic Harris is just awful, really. So I don't know why you'd go to a pitching change right now. Other than Patton could be on the hook for a loss if a guy reaches. But he'll face Vic Harris with a runner at second, 1 out. 42, short X. This is Brinkman, a 2E23. No longer a 1 shortstop, but he's a 2. And he kicks the ground ball. Like I said, folks, who knows what's going to happen in this thing? We probably got extra innings. Oh, my goodness. That'll do it for Marty Patton and company. He went 2 1/3 innings. No, he came in the 5th. He actually went 3 innings, 3 complete innings. And there's 5 outs remaining in the game. And Daryl Knowles will come in the 8th to face John Milner and possibly Del Unser or a pinch hitter. You got runners on the corners. It's a 1-run game. The infield will come up. John Milner. Here's the pitch. 1-5. Well, instead of an inning-ending double play, it's an RBI single. We got a tie game. So there's that. Just changes the complexion of the game entirely. Tie run at third. The lead run at third in a 5-5 tie. Del Unser was going to be lifted for a pinch hitter, but now he'll stick around. Del Unser against the lefty. 1-9, right B question mark. Let's tag up Vic Harris here. He's a great runner. Vic's a 15, 16-17 off the Coggins arm. Scores on a 13, and there you go. They've come all the way back from 4-zip. Again, we knew this was, told you it was going to happen, folks. And George Scott, 68, is a single. And Greg Nettles, 111, that's a 3-run homer. See, that's just great work out of Daryl Knowles, huh? What a gem he is. As Marty Patton will take the loss today, Ed Herman, sky's the center. 9-5, as bad as South Carolina's bullpen is, they should be able to hold on to a 4-run lead after the hideous Halifax collapse. They'll go to Fred Bean to close this thing out. Do they have any defense to bring in? Not really. Yeah, they could bring in Fred Stanley. Yeah, Fred Stanley will play second base. We'll go to the 9th. Poor Elrod Hendricks can't hit a grand slam as he leads off in the 9th inning. Here's the pitch to Elrod. Pops the first. Dave Chalk, 64, catcher's X. 3-6, and with 2 outs. Rich Coggins, 2-8. That's a single. We'll go to second without a throw for Ron Hunt. This guy's center field ball game. Well, that was thrilling, wasn't it? Yep, another collapse in the toss-a-coin tournament here. South Carolina gets the road win. I think every time we've played an elimination game, the team always wins. Thus far, I don't think a team has actually been eliminated in an elimination game. Fred Bean gave up a hit. Tom Griffin gets the W. 7 hits and 5 runs, all early, then a nice bit of settling down, 4 walks and a strikeout. Patton takes the loss, unfortunately. Daryl Knowles gave up 1, 2, 3 hits and 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Patton gives up a hit, 2 runs. Actually, none of those runs were earned. That one was earned. And then Patton also gave up a solo homer there. And then a hit and a walk and a run there. And then another hit and a walk in the previous. Oh, no, he came in and got the 2 outs. Everything else is Junior Richard. 5 hits and 2 runs. Only 1 was earned there. Look at unearned run there. Unearned runs there, and there. Ugly baseball game. 1-0-9, 0-1-08, 9-11, 5-8. 4-1, 4-2, 4-2, 4-1. And that's the end of game 2. So we'll go back to Halifax. Game 3, and Steve Carlton again. Seen a lot of Steve in the tournament. He's probably thinking, why do I have to pitch so much? I'm just here to tune up, you know? I'm not, you know. I've already cemented my card in a future year. Big game 3 for Halifax is Steve Ranko, who's at a nice tournament. He is also on waivers. So it's a big game for Steve Ranko versus Steve Carlton in game 3. We'll have the results of that after the break, so stay tuned. All right, folks, here's the box score of the game you just saw. The remarkable comeback again by South Carolina. Down 4-zip, 5-1, 5-2, 5-3. They win 9-5. Griffin, 8 innings. 7 hits, 5 runs. Fred Bean gave up a hit in the 9th. Good start for him. Richard was pulled after the 5th in the 5th inning, and Daryl Knowles put some kerosene on the end of this game. So we talked about South Carolina with their backs up against the wall. What would happen in a game 3? Well, Steve Carlton, Steve Ranko, and you know what? It didn't work out for South Carolina. The bats went cold. Ranko looks very good with this card. Ranko's card. Somebody should pick this guy up. The Expos didn't exercise the option. He's sitting out there along with Tom Griffin, Mel Stottlemyre. They're looking for work, and this is the audition they were looking for. Ranko went 7 innings, 6 hits allowed, no runs, 4 walks, a couple strikeouts. Meanwhile, lefty wasn't sharp at all. First inning, double RBI single, solo homer to Lee May, bases loaded, walk to Ron Hunt. Walk, double in the 6th, and lefty had enough. He decided to go fishing. He went 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs. Oddly enough, the first appearance by lefty in this tournament was awful, and the last was awful. In between, he had 2 very nice starts. It is 8-0. Halifax wins the series. 2 games to 1. Home team won every game. So let's plug in some results here to our tournament bracket. So here in the pitching matchup department, we know that South Carolina is now done for the next round. But Halifax, with Ranko winning, they're set up in the next round for Kenny Holtzman, Dick Tidrow, J.R. Richard, Ranko, and Holtzman to go. And in the bracket, we don't know who they're going to play yet, of course. It's way too early. But Halifax does win 2 games to 1, meaning they have a record of 8-6. And South Carolina has a record of 6-8. 1 win and 2 losses. 2 wins and 1 loss. 6-8, 8-6. We can double check that in our stats department over here. 8-6 there. South Carolina 6-8 there. So, yep, to just double that up. So we're going to have a lot of teams like that, folks. We're not going to have a 9-win team coming out of this. They're all either an 8 or a 7. So 8-6, maybe 8-5 would be the best record coming out of this tournament. That bodes well for the teams with byes. Bodes particularly well for Missoula, who's 7-1. So they should probably be able to skate through whoever they play in the next round, figuring that they'll have a record a game or 2 above 500. So that bodes well for them. But that's it today. After the break, we're going to take a look at the South Carolina roster and look at the 20 cards they have. So stay tuned for that. All right, here's a look at South Carolina's roster, beginning with the keepers. This is going to be Hank Aaron's 74 card. Probably not the cleanup hitter, though he's got a lot of power and walks. Probably move down to the 6th spot and be a DH in Atlanta. This is probably the last really nice card of Hank's. Not quite an all-star card anymore, but still a productive player. And there it is, the Bernardo experience. And Bernardo, I should have left it Bernie, because these numbers aren't very good. Just average. He's got better numbers than 75 and 7. Though over here it's nice, but I just can't get past the, I can't get over that. I'm not going to put him in a league with that. Silly. Ray Fosse gets a -2 arm, homers, and a triple on that side of the card. Otherwise awful. The good news is he'll hit 300 in a few years. Milner was traded in the offseason to the Padres. He could work in the platoon at first base with Nate Colbert. George Scott leads the league in homers in 75, but this is a nice backup plan. Just 17 homers. Dell Unser can't really play every day anymore, but nice rangy outfielder, good base runner, decent power, nice little player, Dell Unser. Valentine was asked to play shortstop in this series. That was not a good move. Utility player really is all he is. DH, but he's a good bat handler, base runner. Got a nice card if you appreciate all the roles he plays versus how poor his range is at all those roles. Power on the left side. Got a triple there. Got on base. It's a 261 card. So that's not a bad option. And Joe Coleman is on the keeper list of Colorado, but this card doesn't look particularly good. We think eventually in his career he goes to the bullpen, and that's a card Colorado will take. This is the backup plan if you need him in the rotation. Now we got waivered players. Tommy Harper, well, +4 arm outfielder. At least he can bunt, ace steal, and be a 17 runner, draw some walks, be a little disruptive at the top of the lineup in a limited playing. You can see, like the Red Sox, they're not going to go to the World Series with this guy in their outfield. They're going to need Freddie Lynn, Rick Miller, Dwight Evans, Jim Rice, those guys. So, yeah. Vic Harris, only one position now, and not a good stick. And here's the Tom Griffin card that we needed to analyze, and he had nice results overall. And you can see the quality, 8s and out there, some walks, a 2-homer, not too bad. you add the numbers up, and that's actually a pretty nice card to be on waivers. You know, one of the better starting pitchers that you could just pick up, add to your team without any compensation. You know, he's on the waiver list. He's on the street, ready to be picked up. So I'm sure he'll be taken in the early rounds of the draft. Fred Bean, however, used to be a nice closer. Now he's just a guy. But I will note, he falls into the category of a righty who kind of gets lefties out over here. And he's not really that bad over there. For a Jag with a 4.66 ERA, high percentage over there, I'm guessing. Yeah. He's actually high up on the Jag list as far as him being reasonable versus lefties. So he actually might get into the league. Guys who might not get into the league are the undrafted free agents. Larry Hardy, too many hits over there. Not much, really. His ERA is just 0.2 worse than Bean, but you can see the quality of the hits allowed aren't in the same ballpark of the two players. Dave Pagan actually has some nice strikeouts in this card and no homers in the card. And some walks. It's a 5.14 ERA. Probably won't get into the league, but you never know about stuff like this. The thing is, he doesn't really have much of a future anyway, so sometimes a guy gets picked up if we know he's going to have a great year in the future. He really doesn't. And our last group are guys already in the league. Herman's got a better card in 75 that's in use. Nettles has his American League leading 32 homer card of 76 in use by the Yankees. Fred Stanley also on the Yankees with the futures card. Mickey Lolich, he had a dip in 74. 21 game loser. Is better in 75, and that's what the Tigers took. Hard to believe that lefty puts this many guys on base in any year of his career. You can make an argument this is one of the worst Steve Carlton cards we've ever seen, at least in this timeline, even though he's 16, 13, 322. That's a pretty bold statement because it's such a, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Mount Rushmore pitcher, but this card is just okay. Bergmeyer's just a lefty who gets lefties out. He's already in Florida with a futures card. And that'll do it for the 20 players from South Carolina. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time in the Winter Baseball Classic Tournament.